I'm a partner in the state and local tax practice at Citron Cooperman, and I want to welcome you all to the 2026 Women in Power event presented by Citron Cooperman and Westboro Business Journal.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. For those who I haven't met, I'm Chelsea Blancato, and I've had the privilege of co-leading this event for over a decade. What keeps bringing me back is not only the achievements of the women we have here today, but the stories and conversations that I know are going to come to light through this conversation. We heard a little bit about your resumes, but I'd like to take just a moment from each of you to tell the story that's not on the resume. Fran?
Is it on? Yeah. Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much, Chelsea and Citron Cooperman for sponsoring this event and for West Fair for inviting me to participate. It's an honor to be here with my esteemed panelists. Yes, I'm Fran Pastori. I am the founder and CEO of a 30-year-old nonprofit organization based in Connecticut that helps women entrepreneurs launch and scale their businesses. And it has been a labor of love for me for nearly 30 years. It's how I supported my daughters when I was a young mother, and it is really my life's work and privilege to help the thousands of women every year in Connecticut that come to us seeking to launch and scale their business. And my colleagues that I work with make every day worth getting up for, along with the entrepreneurs we serve. I did not do this myself. I have amazing colleagues at the Women's Business Development Council who do the real work that gets done every day. They are the boots on the ground. And so helping women has just been my calling in this world. And if anybody here is looking for some help with their business, please let me know. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. First and foremost, it's so cold outside, so thank you for being here. It's amazing. And we have a full room, so this is pretty awesome. So it's interesting. So the introduction was founder and CEO of the consulting group. So I feel that every time we listen to titles like that, we say, oh, look at this. She's doing well, right? But there is so much more that goes behind these titles and what you see day in and day out. So I'm going to go a little bit more deeper into my background, things that you'll never find in the bio or when you're talking to me. So I was born in a completely different country. I was born in the country of Albania. If you don't know, you should visit. It's a beautiful country. And in a very small village where I don't know how many in the room would understand the idea of when you open like in the middle of the living room, we had pigs downstairs. So that's one piece. And the other interesting part about Albania was it was a communist country. So I was, until 9 years old, I lived in a communist country where there's ration food, and we're talking about the freedoms that we take for granted today, completely taken away. So I remember when communism broke, and I was 9 years old, and people were protesting for freedom and democracy. So I came to the United States when I was 14 years old and didn't know a word of English. And I lived on 233rd Street in the Bronx, and went to a high school where I went through a metal detector every single day. And I'm not going to go into the details of that experience, but you can only imagine somebody who's a teenager coming to a completely different country and going through that. It was, I don't think there's words to describe it. Gangs. So if you don't know Bloods and Crips, you should look into it. It's an interesting world to grow up in. But what was the piece that influenced me the most of who I am today is the culture or the community I grew up in. So the culture in the community is very, I would say, suppression of women, where you're considered a good woman or resilient if you shut your mouth, you raise your kids, you cook and you clean. Not always, there's always exceptions to that, but that is the culture that I grew up in. So I got married at 18 years old, had my son at 20, was pregnant with my daughter Nicoleta over there while walking graduation line, and went into the corporate world. So corporate world is what grew me to be who I am and what I'm doing as far as leadership. But then decided 2 years ago to completely leave that behind and reinvent myself as the founder and CEO of my firm. So I'll stop there.
Thank you so much.
Well, we have a lot in common. We are being before we're doing. So as a being, when I was born in the Dominican Republic. I was this little girl, like every little girl, very excited about just running around without shoes, coming from a very poor background, but you don't know you're poor when you're innocent. And you have this innocence that just everything is beautiful. But at some point in life, that innocence is taken away, or it actually fades away the way that it should be, and we become adults. And some of us, the innocence was taken away. For me, as you heard, I am the founder of a nonprofit organization, Yo Digo No Más, I Say No More. And that didn't just happen, right? We either take our powers from what happened to us and we get to be creators, or we get to be victims. I decided to be a creator. I was born in a country that unfortunately sexual abuse of children, it is very prevalent. I have a story at 9 years old. I was brutally raped, and I talk about it openly, and I know that might trigger some of you, but we don't talk about it, so it's a silent pandemic that affects millions of us, because there are millions of people, children, every 9 minutes a child is sexually abused in the United States. And the man that actually gave me to be brutally raped was my father. So it's a long story, and I have a book. The book is I Say No More, so if you want to hear the whole journey, is there. It's a lot to cover. But I'm going to take you from the darkness, because my innocence was taken away. My light was turned off. And I found a way, an accelerator to turn on my light, and that was my son. So I was married at the age of 17. I was pregnant at the age of 20. I had my son. Not ready to be a mom, not ready to be a wife, not ready to be anything, because I was completely disconnected to my light. My son was born, and I got to see myself. I got to see the woman that needed to do the work, because if I didn't start doing the work, I will pass along to my children the transgenerational curse that is passed along without really wanting to. So that led me to become obsessed with healing. So I've been healing for over 40 years, but I continue to heal because the healing journey never stops. And actually, in a way, it's exciting, because then you get to see that there is more out there that you can go after. So, long story short, I wanted to be a doctor when I was in the Dominican Republic, but as I told you very quickly, my journey did not let me there, but I became a medical assistant. Then I became an executive director at Scarsdale Medical Group for 26 years. And after that, at the age of 50, I had a life-altering experience where I almost died. And I ended up leaving my incredible job to go and open up a medical center that serves the underserved community, very focused on the undocumented population. 11 years already of serving our community in Westchester. And now I'm dealing with women with menopause. So anything that I can do to support and help and impact, I'm going to do it, because it is my life to squeeze as much as I can out of my time. So I have a women center and intimacy and wellness center for premenopausal and menopausal women, one in the city, one in Stanford, with my amazing business partner, Gina Capelli. And the last thing that I've been doing for 2.5 years is bringing the healing to others, other leaders. So I have a company that's called Project Light. I do leadership summits and leadership retreats. And that is, and I'm a mother, and I love life. So I want to bring my light to all of you as the beacon of light. Thank you.
So openly already, we haven't even gotten to the question. One thing when we spoke previously that already comes through so much is that what has shaped you is your personal experience. It's not just professional training to get you to where you are. And it brings me to something many leaders wrestle with. How much of ourselves do we allow to reveal? You know, I'd like to talk about vulnerability. You guys also agree with that. So, it's often misunderstood, especially for women in positions of power. And in your experience, when has being open or imperfect actually strengthened leadership rather than undermined it?
So it's an interesting thought. I feel that throughout my whole life, I've struggled with this person that shows up like this. Red lips, high heels, all put perfectly together. And I always work to be able to show up day in and day out as this very powerful woman. Meanwhile, inside, when I looked at the inside, it was fully broken, continuously broken over and over with things that probably would have completely broken people in general. But what I really, with time, found out is that this roadway that I have, or runway that I have, even though it has the potholes, the roadblocks, and the challenges, I still survived every each one of them. So yes, I have the power to be able to deal with what's happening inside, and that's what I'm focusing on. I've been focusing on for a very long time is how do I heal myself, one, and in turn, be able to then pass on that love or healing over to the next generation, one, and then two, to other women. I am the founder of the Albanian American Professional Women's Group here locally, and our community and every each one of us are part of these small communities where there needs to be a leader or someone that takes charge to say, hey, we recognize an issue, we recognize the hurt, the pain, what can we do together to kind of figure it out?
Thank you. Fran, you were a pioneer in starting your company. How did you have that strength to step into a space where you didn't really know what was next and what would come after this almost 30-year ride of your company?
So necessity is the mother of invention, right? You're a single, unemployed mother with 2 kids, and you're going to commute from Stanford to New York every day, and no, that wasn't going to work for me. So I had to figure it out, and I was lucky enough to, entrepreneurs are born when they fill a need in a community, an unmet need in a community. And I was fortunate enough to have with me, behind me, next to me, in front of me, a lot of other women and a few good men who believed in this concept that I had. But I was a wreck. I mean, I had 2 little girls that I had to feed, clothe, and house. And I was, in Connecticut by myself. I didn't have my family around. My family solution, being from a very provincial Italian family, was come back to Brooklyn and live in the basement and get a job. And, I just could not do that. I was very fortunate to have this posse of girlfriends who helped me figure out that this was a great idea, because this is how big things happen when you meet an unmet need in your community. And I was always very passionate, and Wall Street was never very appealing to me. And I was a born feminist, so I really believed in the power of education and knowledge. And if I was having issues with my education and my background and the support system that I had, what was happening out there for other women who didn't have that, who didn't have the role models that I had? And so it was, many sleepless nights, a lot of anxiety, a lot of crying, a lot of wondering how I was going to pay the bills. But fast forward, we started out with a small grant of $125,000, and 2 employees, and today we have 40 employees and a $10 million budget. And we work with women. 90% of our clients are in Connecticut, and some are from here in Westchester County. We've taken our work around the globe, and so I think for me, the thing that kept me going was knowing that there was a need out there, that people needed the service that we were providing, 1. And 2, to have the support of people who really believed in the mission and were willing to put themselves out there to help. And so then you don't want to disappoint anybody. And then, like you, Lila, I had 2 daughters, and I wanted to raise them to be fully independent and resilient. And that was the driving force in me, to give them a role model, because I didn't have any growing up, really. I didn't, the whole barefoot pregnant cooking the sauce on the stove on a Sunday morning wasn't my thing. So, giving my daughters the opportunity to see powerful women and also to give back to one's community was really, really important to me.
I think Catherine mentioned it. You all really stepped up to serve respective communities that were underserved, in need, or you felt connected to. Maria, how did you embrace that in your journey to step into a place where you could help people and not just focus on your career?
Sometimes we figure it out very quickly. Sometimes it takes a life-altering experience for you to really say, it doesn't matter the money, it doesn't matter what it is that I'm doing. I have a mission, I have a calling. And for me, that calling came, as I said, when I was 15 years old. I almost died. I had a year where I went from being this very powerful woman that built herself and was not afraid of anything to a woman that needed support. I needed, my children actually ended up taking care of me at the age of 50. And that year was a year where I slowed down to a level that I never imagined. Contemplating death really changes you. It brings clarity. Actually, I say death is a gift, because if you live like the monks do, they think of death, they meditate on death every morning, in the middle of the day, and at night, because if you remember that we're all going to die, then what is important to you? So for me, it was that moment I went to work, and the first time I walked into my office, I knew. I said, I'm leaving. I'm going to create a medical center dedicated to the Latino community in Westchester. I'm going to focus on the undocumented population. I'm going to focus on the Medicaid population, because I took care of the wealthy community in Scarsdale, which happens to be the number 5 or the 5th richest city in the United States. So I got to see healthcare done the right way. And I decided I'm leaving. And I was making a lot of money. I had the perfect job. I thought I was going to retire there. And my mom said to me, Mija, ¿estás loca? She said, why? And she was a religious woman. And I said, because I got a call. And she said, are you sure? And I got the calling and I left. And they offered me more money. I said, no, I'm going to find where to create, and by the way, no idea how I was going to do it. Because by now I've done so much healing work that I realized that this magic, and that magic, I don't know how it's going to happen. But all I need to know is what the vision is. And I ended up opening for May, this medical center that now sees over 25,000 patients a year. And that vision in 3 months was created. I joined my business partner Gina, and we went on this journey. And now we're opening other practices. Now we have women wellness center. Anything is possible. You gotta crush the fear. Crush the fear. On the other side is where the gift is.
While you spoke, you set the tone that you're a limit crusher, and I think that's clearly evident just in how you speak. But many women in leadership feel the pressure just to give endlessly at the expense of themselves very often. You know, how do you learn to set boundaries? You know, make space for yourself and prioritize self-care. Really, you need to show up to be your best self.
I don't have any boundaries. I don't practice self-care. It's just not something that I've been able to master. And I don't know that it's really possible in my lifetime to master that. My self-care is at the end of the day, I get on my sofa with my 2 German Shepherds and I cuddle with them. That's it. I try to get out there, I try to swim, I try to go to yoga. I try to join every one of our clients who has any kind of a wellness anything. The American Express bill comes, there are all the charges. I haven't shown up in a month. So I don't know that that's really truly possible. And I think we put so much pressure on ourselves to do the balance thing. It's just not real. So when something is feeding your soul, which my work does for me and the women that we work with every day, my team, I have to live with that and be happy with that and satisfied with that. And once you know that about yourself, the only thing left to do is cancel all the memberships on your website. So once you know that about yourself, you can rest. You can rest because you have identified what gives you the most pleasure. And so, yeah, I think we put too much pressure on ourselves to find that.
When I was, I like how genuine that was. So, when I was in corporate world, so I was in corporate for 20 years in banking, and having the title, managed folks, I thought I made a difference. I felt exactly that, hey, there's no time for me. All I need to do is just work. But also it was a time that I was building and rebuilding, and with a lot of different challenges on the personal side. So when I decided to leave that whole thing behind, I realized that if I don't focus on myself, I probably will continue to break internally in a very bad way, right? So I decided that, and my family, by the way, my husband John is here, my daughter Nicoletta and Julia, they're my world, and then I have a son as well. I decided that if I don't focus on myself and feel that I think maybe everyone in the room is striving for, is just feel loved for our own self, then I can never be able to give more to others. So this whole shift from structure and corporate, and you're doing everything possible to be able to get to the next level, and all these things completely shifted when I decided that, no, I really need to do something for myself where I feel that I love my true self. So I have been focusing. I'm doing yoga. I'm doing a lot of meditation. I am doing a lot of healing. And I think we've gone probably to the same places. Because again, if I don't love my true self and focus on myself. I'm 45 years old. In 5 years, I'm probably gonna break again. And by doing that, again, I'm able to give to the people that are most important in my life, but then beyond that is the vision about what else, right? We're all blessed to be in this room, and I would say that each person here is a very powerful being, because just the mere fact of us being here on a Thursday morning, having coffee with a whole bunch of badass women, right? That means that we, to some degree, feel very confident with ourselves, and we're blessed to have the lives that we have. So what else is there? And that's the thoughts that go through my head. What can I do more? And is our purpose in life to just, okay, you get married, you have kids, you love your husband, you pass on good values and things to your kids, but we're blessed, right? So the vision is, or the thought is, for me to be able to give more. And I'm a feminist as well, big time feminist. My team, so we have close to about 50 people. My firm does outsourcing. 80% of those are women. And I am very, very mindful that if I can support women within my community to some degree, just very little, and I pass on that to my daughters or my friends or my colleagues or folks that can also do the same, or people in this room can do the same, then my job is done.
I think that there's two different approaches to it, but both of you are talking about putting time to things that make you feel whole, to make you feel more valued. And I would think a lot of people in this room would look at a lot of what you've accomplished and think of that as success. But I'm sure, as you said, new boundaries, you keep pushing. How has that definition of success evolved for you throughout your careers?
For me, is waking up every morning and loving myself. I look in the mirror every single day, and the first person I see that I love is moi. I send myself a kiss every morning. I'm not even kidding you. It works. I go, good morning, beautiful. You're more beautiful today. So let me tell you that, I do healing work. I just got back from Vermont. I have 12 acres of healing in Vermont, and I just had 6 beautiful souls that trusted me with their soul. And I can tell you that the hardest thing, and I've been doing this for about almost 3 years. We have about 400 people that we've done transformation. I do this with my son. And the hardest thing for every single person that comes to the retreat or the leadership summits that we do is that they are not putting themselves first. Me first for my children. Me first for my future husband, because I'm single. Me first for my future husband. Me first for my family. Me first for my businesses and the people that I support. Me first for the community. Me first for the world. I can tell you that every morning I spend 2 hours with Mom. 2 hours. I work out, non-negotiable. I call them sweat deposits. I'm going to deposit so much in my body, but by the time I'm 80, that's taking me over to the, when I leave this earth. I'm going to be in shape because I work out every single day. I meditate every single day. Before I came here, I got up at 5. I worked out. I meditated. I took my daughter. I gave her a love deposit. She wanted Dunkin' Donuts and for me to take her to school. And I took her. And I have to tell you how important that is of the way that you're being, because your being shows up in every area, not just work. I can tell you that my daughter, when she was 13 during the pandemic, we went through a mental health crisis that I never in my life imagined that I would go through. And this morning we were actually talking about it because she learned to put herself first, because she saw me during the hardest time when she needed my support every single day. I trained in 2022 for an Ironman. I didn't know how to swim and I didn't know how to cycle. And my daughter is going through a mental health crisis that put her in a hospital for 7 weeks. 7 weeks. This little girl was lost. And I ended up pulling her through, going to court to try to get my daughter full custody of my child, because unfortunately her dad, in the dark, he doesn't know what he's doing because he also has a light. He ended up doing a lot of damage to her. But if I tell you that I trained for an Ironman, and thank God that I did, because every day I had to put myself first for 2 to 3 hours. But once I was done, I was ready for anything that would come my way. I was her rock that was holding her, because I put me first. Thank you.
I wish I had some of that energy every morning, I would say. This is every day. Fran, you've mentored thousands of women, entrepreneurs, indirectly through your organization. What's still something emerging women leaders underestimate about themselves? We're talking about doubts and giving each other power. What is something that you can give advice?
Well, the number one thing that I see and that my team sees every single day is confidence and knowing your value. Those are the two biggest things. We get women constantly saying, oh, I can't charge that for my services. Or my product, oh my God, no one's going to pay that. And I think in the end, it's just historically how women, you mentioned it earlier, historically and culturally, some of those barriers that we have, not only if you are an immigrant, but in our own country, how society has pigeonholed women and the limitations that we've put on ourselves, or that have put upon us, and the power and the intention that takes to break out of that. I was sharing with Joan, who interviewed all of us earlier, that just a couple of little factoids, right, about, in the 1900s, until the turn of the century, women were still considered chattel. We were owned by our husbands. We didn't get the right to vote until shortly thereafter. We then, in 1972, were finally able to get a credit card, a mortgage, or a car loan in our own name without having a male co-signer the age of 16 years or older. And it wasn't until 1988 that you could get a commercial loan for your business without having a male co-signer at the age of 16 years of age or older. So those are the economic factors. And then there are the social factors that our society and these two women who are both immigrants and have made such a success for themselves and for others and helped others along the way have had to deal with overcoming as well. And then those of us like me had my own cultural issues, right? Growing up in a very provincial Italian family where there was no such thing as a woman going to work. And so we have these things that are all hanging over us. And confidence wreaks havoc on your life. Not having that confidence wreaks havoc on your life. And it comes out in a lot of different ways. And for us, it's the women entrepreneurs that we see that don't know their own value. And I'm going to guess for a lot of women in the corporate sector that it's the same thing, knowing your value. I think Mika Brzezinski wrote a book about that, knowing your value. So that's what I would say is one of the biggest obstacles to success, is having the confidence to move forward.
So I think we have time for one question that I'd like to pose to all of you. We've talked about our families, children, and setting the tone of what you want to leave behind, paving the way for for other women behind you? What is something that you want to, when people talk about what you delivered for their communities, that you can pass down to say, this is what I've accomplished for women in the workplace? Marianne, would you like to start?
That you're limitless. Each and every one of you. Limitless. Whatever you want, you can get. You just have to want it. Not need it. Want it. From your heart. I am a limit crusher. And I wasn't a limit crusher, as you heard part of my story. I became one. So each and every one of you, women or men, there's some men here, you're limit crushers too. You can accomplish anything you want, but guess what? Who do you need to put first? You. Because if you're putting everyone out here first, how do you become limitless? There's this saying that in my healing work that I say is, as within, so without. You have to take care of the in so that you can crush the out. Limitless possibilities. I want everybody to remind me, and in my tomb will say, limitless possibilities. A limit crusher was on this earth. Maria Trusa. Thank you.
So it sounds so easy, right? To you. And I'm sorry if I'm being very direct, but it's so hard to get to that.
Obviously.
It is so hard to get to that. But I can tell you that each one of us, and I'm going to piggyback to, has the power to be limitless. It's a mindset. I'm a strong believer that our mind or our brain controls our reality. So if you tell yourself every single morning, instead of saying, hey, beautiful, you look great today, you say, oh my God, like, what's happening? Like, or don't even say it out loud, you think it. I'm not good enough. I can't do this. Oh, they're gonna judge me. Can't handle this. I'm gonna break. Then it's true, right? So let me go back to the original story. The amount of setbacks that I've had as an individual, it's crazy, actually. I don't even believe it. I don't believe it myself that I'm here, and I'm sitting next to these wonderful, powerful women, right? So it starts with just your mindset, what you believe about yourself, confidence, strength, limitless. We got it. Why not?
Empowered women empower women. That's it.
Thank you all. I think the message that you've given is we can't just cut ourselves short. We're the ones telling ourselves we can't do it. It doesn't even matter who else is in the room. We haven't even gotten a start. So giving that message to everybody, there's going to be doubts. There's going to be moments of uncertainty. But having that confidence in yourself and pushing forward really is how we're going to continue to achieve. I want to thank you all for sharing not only your achievements, but your doubts, your journeys, and your growth. The honesty and candor that we heard in this conversation is really what we hear. Like you said, when we started, we'll to go a little deeper. And I hope everyone felt that we delivered on that today. We have some time for questions, so I wanted to open it up. I believe there's going to be microphones going around the room. If you want to just raise your hand, and we'll pass it over to you.
Does anybody have a question? All right, got one over here.
So my question is for Fran. I love the fact that you are a founder and CEO of a nonprofit. I am as well in Dutchess County, and we have a question here in regards, do you serve other nonprofits outside of Connecticut?
In terms of the work that we do, the businesses that come to us, yeah, some of them are nonprofit organizations, absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you.
And congratulations to you. There's something in the back over there.
Hello. I would love to know if you have a favorite book or podcast that you could recommend.
Mine. So read his own book. I say no more. It's on Amazon. It's affordable. Joking aside, I guess not. What's the joke? Promoting my book. My God, I am obsessed with books. So I listen to Audibles. I do a book a week in Audible. While I'm getting myself ready, I listen to.
After you say you're beautiful.
Yes. Then it goes on. So when there's two books that I would highly recommend, The Power of a Millionaire Mind, unbelievable book. It's about the programming of your brain, how we were programmed to be poor, and that's why when you're poor, you have a very high chance to stay poor. Also, The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. Wow. I've read that, I listened to that book probably 5 times already.
I listen a lot to, I don't know if the name is familiar, Joe Dispenza. So that is, so my aim this year is to go actually to one of his retreats. So there's a podcast, there's many recordings, meditation, and everything in between that has to do with mindset. And our brain is what creates our reality.
So I'm a little bit of a political junkie. I listen to Ezra Klein, and that's my podcast. I also listen to Julia Louis-Dreyfus, her podcast. I forget the name of it, but it's great. And she interviews women of a certain age. And then the books are Carla Harris's books, which are very appropriate for this group. I can't think of either of those names either. It's menopause. And so I would recommend, especially for the young people in the room, the young women in the room, Carla Harris's books. Thank you.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for everything. I really enjoyed every of the topics and insights you gave me. But since you all have businesses, what is the one piece of advice you could give regarding funding for your business? And also, what was the biggest mistake you made in funding your business?
So I was in banking for 20 years, so probably we could give a little bit of advice there. There's a lot of help around small business development centers. So there's one, I believe, here in Westchester, there's in Rockland, there's in Bronx, and so on. So I would say that would be a first stop. I'm not sure at what step you're at, right? Your business, is it just starting out? Is there additional help around business plans and things like that? But that would be my first kind of thought around stop. And then your local bankers. There's every bank out there has relationship managers who work with business owners, and that's exactly what I did throughout my career and my folks that I had on my team. So they're out there in the community. I'm sure there's bankers here, and that would be my advice. The young lady over here, just raise her hands. Oh. I thought you were a banker.
She's a banker.
Yeah, there we go. I don't know if that was helpful.
It was.
Okay, great.
You have a question?
We have a question.
time and the presentation, really enlightening what you shared. So I have some similarities to Lola. I've worked in banking for the last 20 years and just started my consulting firm. I focus on compliance consulting. So I guess my question to you, and you've said great things, you want to build yourself up and make sure you have the confidence, but how do you just get started? I'm starting to go out there, I'm networking, I'm calling on previous colleagues, but sometimes it's just hard to get that first push. So what recommendations do you have for me just starting?
So, being an entrepreneur is beyond tough, especially if you're coming from a very structured environment like corporate, right? So to make that decision, first of all, congratulations, because that's not easily made. I would say that what has helped me the most is the brand that I built for myself throughout the 20 years of my career. One is that, but also the network. There's a lot of great organizations locally. I belong to Business Council of Westchester. They host a number of events, networking and so on, that could be a great kind of like foot in the door. And then depending on what industry you're focusing on, my team supports a lot of folks in the property management space and real estate space and so on, so we do outsourcing again. I belong to different organizations that are specific to the industry. And then it's really you, yourself, going out there and positioning your firm as your brand. And the hardest part is getting that first client, but I would tell you that just patience and consistency. Don't look at it as like, oh my God, I've started this 6 months. Continue on the vision. What is it that you are planning, or when you first started the business, what was your vision? Just consistently keep at it, and business will come.
Yeah, you just need to come to WBDC.
Hi, my name is Naveed, and I have a similar question in regards to entrepreneurs. When we start a business, and especially as a woman, having backgrounds, I'm also from a different country, and then cultural expectations as you grow older. I'm also a single parent. As an entrepreneur, that you just keep pushing forward and trying to grow and scale, what is the advice, or how do you overcome when the imposter syndrome comes? Because that is realistically a real thing.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna say own it. I really, there's been, look, I right now cannot believe I'm sitting here. So maybe I'm talking confidently, not, but own it. It's okay. Until it becomes reality of what you truly think about yourself.
If I can add to that, we are the sum of the 5 people that you're surrounding yourself with. This is the same. Somebody quoted that, it's not my quote. Putting yourself in finding people, like, I could coach you if you want. Do you know how many times I've said that? I do a lot of public speaking engagements. And I tell people, I gave one time 100 business cards. And I said, you could all call me. My cellular number is on the card. I got 2 calls. 2 women that dare to call. So just dare to do it. One of them asked me, can I bring my family to Vermont? I dreamed, she was an immigrant that just got here, and she said, I dreamed of having my family in a place like you described, your home. And a month later, she was there with her 2 children. There to ask. Everyone is you. You are a human being like everyone else. Forget about the titles. Titles are just, yeah, you got a little further, but you can get there too. just dare to ask.
So,
So I still have it.
I have appointments by our governor. I'm sitting on the largest hospital board in the state of Connecticut. I have brand and name recognition everywhere I go. I still have it. Why am I sitting at this table with the president of Eversource? It's our electric company in Connecticut. Why am I sitting at this table with the president of Travelers Insurance Company? Why did they ask me to be part of this and sit at this table? And in the words of Carla Harris, if they asked you to be in the room and they asked you to sit at the table, then you belong there. It is, the imposter syndrome does not go away. And it's so painful. But you just got some really great advice. The other thing I'll say to you is you need to surround yourself with people that you can trust. And the best thing to do is to find those people through the resources that are available. Whether it's reaching out to Maria, whether it's coming to the Women's Business Development Council, find those people. Find your kitchen table board of directors, you know? That's the best thing you can do for yourself because there's so much power with those people that you bring around you. But the imposter syndrome, it is not unique to women, that is for sure. Men have it all the time. We all have it. It's just, it's a thing. But you can get better at it by surrounding yourself with people. And it's really just an important thing to do. I mean, there's so many groups out there. So that's my recommendation.
That's what I'm happy to do.
Go ahead.
So, hi, my name is Cami, and I'm with Remax, and I'm now working this year. My focus is branding my own group, so CPR Real Estate within the Remax team. And so I have a question, or not a question. I'd like to, because we are running out of time, be respectful. What do each of you guys have coming up that we can all attend, and how to reach you guys? Because it would be for you, I'm licensed in both New York and Connecticut. I have a team now that I'm outsourcing, and with you, I'm actually part of Project Light, so if anyone has any questions of that with Maria. But for the sake of all of us, what can we expect that you guys are doing next, and how to reach you guys?
Thank you. So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
You can come to WBDC for personal branding help if you're looking for it.
Yes, please.
It's free. So I would say everybody that is interested in learning more about building your business and connecting and networking with women, just sign up for our newsletters. And you'll get the newsletter. It comes out every Friday. We've got a conference for women entrepreneurs coming up. I don't know the date. I think we're still working on the date. We've got an event at the State Capitol in Hartford, which is a big deal. And then we have an event in Greenwich in October. I think it's October 23rd or 24th. Those are the big things. The calendar of events and educational opportunities, that you gotta go to the website for, but you'll get the notifications if you sign up for the newsletter.
So I hope you connect with me in LinkedIn and send me your email, and I will add you to my newsletter. I have a newsletter that goes out every month. You get to see my face with a beautiful message for you, and then I tell you everything that I'm doing. As you can see, I am obsessed with life, so there's a lot going on. I created a VIP women restaurant hopping instead of bar hopping. So every month I have a new place that I ask women, I invite you to come, and we get together to have authentic conversations, and authenticity and vulnerability connects. And then we empower each other at an authentic level. And in March, I spoke about the leadership summits that I do in New York with my son. We have in March our next summit, leadership summit, that I invite you to come to. It's in Valhalla. So, and again, my newsletter and my webpage has all the information, but please connect with me on LinkedIn. I welcome it. Thank you.
So I would say that the support that we're giving through different events and so on is very specific to the LBE community. But what I can say is that if you're looking for someone to genuinely tell you the raw way of how I've handled challenges and so on, please reach out to me. That's all I can say. Reach out to me, and I'm definitely very active on LinkedIn as well. So reach out to me, and I'd love to just have coffee and give you that true way of just from the heart of what I've done throughout my career and personal life and so on to help.